Booyah! Yeah. Beast Boxing Tiger here. We're still at Tampa Pal. It's a cigar showcase amateur here. And I have a pleasure to be with John Fernandez, board member, coach of S.J.C Boxing. Yo, congratulations.
Thank you, man. It was a great night for our fighter, Braden Stewart. We're from S.J.C Boxing Club in Fort Myers, and he represented us well.
Yeah, he did. I mean, like I talked to him earlier, his head movement, he was very collective, and he said, man, you guys work him so much.
You know, one of the things we pride ourselves on at S.J.C Boxing Club is conditioning, because we know that all of these guys are tough, especially the farther you go in this, the higher up the ladder. All of these guys are tough, and they train hard, so you have to be ready to match their conditioning, and he did that today. In the third round, he was stronger than the other guy, and it showed.
You know, John, you just said a condition, pretty much like 90% condition, mental, you know, the rest is 10. I mean, what do you do as far as your routine, your daily, weekly, with your training?
Well, our gym's open 5 days a week from 6 to 8 at nighttime, so we let guys go, you know, they go to school during the day and then they come to the gym at nighttime. We have guys also in their early 20s and late teens who have jobs and so forth, so we're open at nighttime. They come and they work. You know, we do a traditional routine. We skip rope, we shadow box, we work on slipping with the bags, slipping under ropes, pivoting. And then we do a lot of bag work, speed bags, double in bags, things like that. Everything with the idea that every round is like you're competing in a real match. So I push guys, they push themselves, even when they're hitting the bags. And of course, we do sparring twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays. And we invite other gyms, and sometimes we go to other gyms because it's important to get outside sparring. You can't spar the same guys all the time.
Hey, you know, back in the day, talking about boxing has changed so much. I mean, all sports have changed in ways. Condition, when we're talking about condition, what do you think, John, is hurting fighters today as far as condition-wise? As far as what are they not doing that you still doing, and you don't see camps kind of like pushing it to get it done?
I think guys need to fight a lot more. In the pros, for sure, that's one of the problems in the pros, is there just aren't enough cards out there that guys can get on. Even the champions, they fight maybe once or twice a year at most. So it's not like the old school guys where they would fight at least 4 times a year, every quarter, even Duran and those guys. And then when they're rising up the ladder, they're fighting once a month, hopefully. That was the goal. And, you know, when you do that, you're always in shape. What happens is guys will fight, and then they won't fight again for another 3 or 4 or 5 months, and then it's easy to get out of shape.
You know, and that's I agree with you 100%. I mean, back in the days, a fighter used to average 4 to 5 fights a year minimum.
Right. You had to do it. Like Mike Tyson, he held the record, 19 wins in 1 year.
Yes.
You know, he was active. They kept him busy. And part of the reason was to get him off the streets, keep him focused, because, you know, Mike was wild, and he didn't have a lot of discipline on his own at the time. He did. He developed it later, but if you didn't keep him busy, man, Mike would find something else to get into, and it would damage him.
You know, as far as these great fighters like Mike Tyson, Chavez, average, I was looking 7 fights a year. Now, we got a lot of fans, boxing fans, that are pretty angry, even us coaches, with the judging, how nothing's being done. They talk about it in the pros. Let's go to the pros now. And what needs to be done? Because somebody's got to be accountable for some of these scorecards, 117, 111, when the other ones both sees it 114, 113. You, as a professional, and you've been in and out the ring, you know, what is it that needs to happen? Because somebody's got to be liable for some of these matches.
Well, everything's about transparency, no matter what you do. If you really want to get things at the highest level, the gold standard, you have to have transparency. And I think part of what we need is open scoring. You know, every other game, you know the score during the game. In boxing, you don't find out to the end. But I think it would change a little, and people would be accountable during the match if their card or their score is being shown during the match. So that's one way to do it. Training people. I think the judges are good by and large, but you do have some man, that seem to be looking at a different fight.
I
And there
mean-
might be corruption. There might be money involved. You know, remember, boxing's still the wild, wild west. We don't have a league. This is a free agency business, and promoters can put on a show, and they get to decide who the commission will decide who the judges are. But, you know, judges are human beings too, and they may want to keep judging other cards for that promoter, so they help them out a little.
Hey, you know, as far as mandatories and the rankings, we've seen it a lot because it's being talked about. The guys that are not fighting, like back in the days, number 6 will get a shot at number 2, and you break them down the top 10, 20. Now it seems like you're fighting a guy that is not even in the top 50, and you got guys that deserve to get a shot, and they don't.
Mayweather did that, and I think part of the problem, you know, good for Mayweather, he made a lot of money, for sure. He changed the game. He became his own promoter. And so when he did that, he became more of a fighter. He's a promoter, a manager, and a fighter, and he gets to pick and choose who he fights. And a lot of guys, they're begging for fights. I mean, you got guys who are undefeated, good contenders that should have a chance at the title, but they have to beg the champion to give them a chance because the champions are making so much money now. It used to be that even a great like Sugar Ray Robinson, the most money he could make was how many people he could get into the stadium. You didn't have this pay-per-view market now, which is a global market. So if you can get 100 million pay-per-view views around the world, you can start making some money. Now you're talking, some guys get 750, 800. I think Spence and Crawford made a lot of money because of the pay-per-view. That's changed the game. And when you make that kind of money, why would you fight more than once a year?
You know, it makes sense the way you break it down, and also as far as the fights. Now we're seeing more fights overseas. I talked to a great promoter. I can't think of it right now off the bat, but he says they pamper these fighters up there, not only with a good pay, but just everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Middle Eastern countries, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, now they're putting on fights and paying lots of money to people to go there. The game has changed. America is no longer a boxing country. You can just see that. Even in our amateurs, no one knows who the amateurs are, the stars are, the Olympics. They don't know who our Olympians are. Back in the day when you had Sugar Ray Leonard, Howard Davis Jr., Leon Spinks, you had all those guys, and Ali and Joe Frazier, they were Olympic champions. People forget that. We don't really have that going on here in America. UFC, football, baseball, that seems to be the sport. But it is still popular around the world, as you're saying.
Hey, John, thank you, man. That's very interesting, man, all this conversation. Hey, where can we follow you and for the listeners and the people who are watching?
SJCboxing.com. And, yeah, thank you for everything, man. Appreciate all you do for being out here.
Hey, man, thank you, man, for that teaching, man. Yo, this guy, man, John Fernández, man. Yo, para que sepan, mi gente latina, aquí estamos al garete como siempre. Chequeando los peleadores de Amateo aquí en Tampa Pal, que tienen un showcase aquí especial. And keep punching and God bless. And we'll see you back, man, right here again, man.
God bless.
All right.